Hello and welcome back, my friends. Are you dealing with poor draining soil in your landscape or in your garden? I know how frustrating it can be, but I've got some good news for you. I've got some simple tips, tricks, and techniques to share with you on today's video that's going to help to resolve that issue and get you growing more abundantly and successfully. Stay tuned. In today's video, we're going to be both discussing and offering solutions to help you to contend and mitigate any issues you're having with poor draining soil in your landscape. It's so important that we take care of these issues as soon as we see them pop up, because it may take a little while to get things back in balance, get it in check, so that we can grow amazing plants. With that being said, the solutions being offered today are both low cost and easy to implement. Now, there's a multitude of reasons why you may be dealing with poor draining soil in your garden, so I'm going to do my best to cover all the bases and talk about the main reasons that most folks are dealing with this type of issue in the landscape. So we're going to start off with soils that are actually repelling water, otherwise known as hydrophobic soil. If you've been gardening for any length of time, you more than likely have come across this situation. You're watering your potted plants, and the water's just staying on the surface. It's taking forever to soak into the pot. Or you're watering sections of your garden. Again, it's taking a long time to soak in, and maybe you go by a little later, you dig a shovel or your hand into the soil to come to find out the water only penetrated an inch or two deep, and it's not getting down to the roots of your plants. So one of the main reasons this happens is because the soil has become dehydrated, overly dry, so that the water is having a hard time penetrating and breaking the surface tension that's there. So one of the keys to avoiding this mishap is to actually make sure that you're keeping enough moisture in your soil so that it doesn't completely dehydrate out. And in a perfect world, that's going to be easy to accomplish, and we wouldn't even be having this discussion today. But let's be real. There's lots of different factors that we're dealing with, whether it's hot, sunny days, windy conditions that are drying out the soil, or even having water access issues, making it more difficult to stay on top of your watering game in the garden. So if you're dealing with this specific issue, and you know that it's not caused by too much clay in the soil or compaction problems, which we're going to be going over that in a moment, then I've got a quick and easy solution for you that's going to help things to get back on track. Check it out. So if your soil's dried out, it's repelling water, it's not soaking down to the root zone, then what we need to do is add in a soil wetting agent or a soil surfactant. Now, there are products that you can buy at your local gardening center that are made specifically for this use. But you could also just use a biodegradable, all-natural dish soap, something like this plant-based derived 𝗙𝗃𝗿𝗃 dish soap, which is what I use in my garden, and a little goes a long way. Really, all you need is about a half a tablespoon to 2 gallons of water, and simply water with that dish soap any area that's giving you problems repelling water. Now, other than dehydration in the soil being a factor, other factors such as the different components of what makes up the soil's composition, the organic materials, can also play a role here. So products such as peat moss, coco coir, which are commonly added into potting mixes or directly into the garden, although they're great at retaining moisture, once they dry out, they have the opposite effect. They repel moisture. I've had the same thing happen in my garden from the decomposition of the wood chips that I put down as a mulch. Over the years, as these wood chips break down, they create a fine particulate, like a crust on the top of the soil surface, and the water has a hard time penetrating through that. It really just captures it like a sponge. But the good news is a soil surfactant is going to remedy the issue. And as long as you follow up the treatment by making sure you don't allow your soil to fully dehydrate, once again, you're going to notice you have great drainage, and the water now is penetrating and spreading all throughout the soil nice and evenly, getting to the roots, helping to produce vigorous, amazing crops. Now it's important to note here that other dish soaps could work as well, but many of them contain dyes and chemicals and other things that I wouldn't want to introduce into my soil, not to mention that an abundance of these things can also be harmful to the microorganisms in your soil, the construction workers that are helping to build and create amazing tilth in your garden. You don't want to destroy any of those microorganisms. So use this treatment sparingly and try to use the most natural product you can to accomplish it. And then, like I said, follow up after the treatment by not allowing your soils to dry out, and you're going to get amazing results. As a side note, surfactants are also added in to your foliar feeding sprays, whether you're doing a compost tea or a nutrient spray like kelp or fish emulsion. What this is going to allow for is better penetration into the plant stoma, which is basically the lungs. It's where the plant uptakes all the nutrients through the leaves, which then go through the stem and down all the way into the roots. But you're going to get better absorption when you do add a bit of surfactant into your foliar feeding spray. All right, so let's look at another reason why you may be having poor drainage in your landscape. One of the most common reasons is too much clay in the soil. Now, clay is a really fine particulate. When it becomes wet, it becomes sticky and dense. It absorbs water, it expands, and the combination of all that can cause basically a roadblock for water to get through, again, causing a multitude of problems, restricting water from getting to the roots, or even just holding too much water and causing root rot. So what do you do in this situation? Whether it's your garden or your lawn, I've got a solution to offer you for that problem as well, and it's gypsum. So gypsum is a naturally occurring mineral. It's calcium and sulfur, and it can be added safely into the garden. And what it's going to accomplish is help to break up and loosen the soil structure. So using gypsum alone is not a good idea because you're going to have a temporary benefit. But instead, what we want to do is loosen that soil structure and then inject more organic material into that clay, helping to break it up and balance it out for better drainage. Now, it's important that we get these additives worked into that native clay soil. So turning the soil with a shovel, using a tiller, and then applying your gypsum at the rate of about 20 pounds for 500 square feet, and then introducing organic material like compost, manure, those types of things, blending it all together over time, and you may have to do this a few times, is going to dramatically improve the drainage in your clay soil. Important to note, however, if you are dealing with an acidic soil profile, and it's important that you take a soil test to see where you're at on the pH scale, but if you're at 5.0 or below, then sulfur can actually have a detrimental effect on the roots of your plants, causing them to even die. So you want to make sure if you're dealing with an acidic soil that you're first dealing with that issue, and a great way to do that is by applying lime into your garden soil. So get everything balanced out if you can before adding in the gypsum. And for those of you that may be dealing with poor drainage in your lawn that's heavy clay, a good way to deal with that is to actually aerate the lawn first. Whether you're using a spike shoe or you're using one of these soil plug machines, you can either manually use it. They've got motorized ones as well, but they pull out little plugs of your soil throughout your lawn, and that's going to allow for aeration and for other components to be introduced. And you can leave those soil plugs right there on the surface. Go ahead and add in some gypsum, some other organic materials, some compost, what have you, and allow that to work in. Over time, you're going to see a tremendous improvement in soil drainage as well as the health of your lawn, as the roots are now able to take up the nutrients while getting the proper balanced amount of water to the root systems. Gypsum can also help with desalination, removing the salts that have built up in your soil, especially for those who live in areas that snow. They're using rock salts, ice melting salts on the road. Those are coming onto your property. Those buildups can be very detrimental to your plant's health as well as your soil profile. Bringing in the gypsum is going to break up that smaller particulate, allowing for better flow so that those salts can flush out of the soil. And as a result, you'll have a much more balanced soil profile that's going to grow healthy plants for you and drain water appropriately. The last thing I want to offer to you in the way of advice as far as dealing with poor draining soils, if you're growing on a landscape that is mostly rock or clay and is going to take a lot of work to get things balanced out, perhaps a lot of investment, you may want to consider just going the route of using raised beds. and it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't gotta go out and buy the most expensive lumber and build the most beautiful raised beds, but really just start mounding up soil and create any type of a structure around the border and grow in a raised bed. A lot of folks, even with some of the best soils, may choose to grow in a raised bed because it helps to keep the vermin out as well. If you're dealing with gophers, moles, voles, these type of things, you can put some hardware cloth on the bottom of your raised bed, stopping all those animals from coming up and pulling down your plants. Anyway, my friends, that's going to wrap up today's video. I appreciate you being here, spending some time with me today. If you haven't already, I'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. New uploads every week, sometimes every day, and I'm always giving you updates on all the different things going on around here. And if you do us a quick favor and smash that like button, we sure do appreciate it. So with that, have yourself a great rest of the day. Until next time, this is Dan from plantabundance.com. Take care. I'll be talking to you again soon.